Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, who's the saddest Pokemon? It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Matt Acevedo. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, including Pokemon Sword and Shield Direct. Ooh. And then on Thursday, come back for that because Mark, Mitchell, and I are going to discuss Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link. But wait a minute, Matt.
Yeah.
First of all, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Another week, another pile of news to dive into.
So much news to dive into.
There really is, man. It's going to be fantastic.
Now, normal listeners might be wondering, what's going on? Why is Matt here? Where is Mark, they may say?
Where is Mark?
Look, Mark's not here.
He's not here, and that's all that matters. I'm here right now, and we're going to have a good time, you know?
You are in good hands.
Yeah.
Because Matt knows his Nintendo.
I do. It's I don't have many people to talk about it, so I'm very excited to be here to talk about it.
And so we'll get to all of that in a minute. But first, just a little bit of housekeeping. First of all, if you would like to borrow my copy of Sonic Forces, you can do that. All you have to do is my copy of Sonic Forces on Switch. All you got to do is email us your mailing address. Mm-hmm. Send an email to Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. Thank you, Matt.
I got you.
I was like, oh no, we didn't talk about it. But you got it.
I listen to the podcast. Yeah.
Awesome. And then you can get my copy of this game and you can play it for as long as you want and then send it back.
That's awesome. Do you know where it is right now? Like, do you know who has it? Has it been... How long? When was the last time you were able to
When's the last time I saw it?
Yeah.
I think I saw it 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
I believe Lizzie has it right now.
Oh, that's fantastic.
What up, Lizzie?
What up? I hope you're enjoying that. Enjoy that Hoobastank.
Oh, there's Hoobastank in there?
They do the song in there. Hoobastank is the one who does I forgot. I don't it's not Infinity, but it's one of it's Fist Bump. They do Fist Bump.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
For a second, what is your favorite song from Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh man, my favorite song's gotta be City Escape from Battle Adventure 2.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Sonic Heroes for me, just like the
Sonic Heroes.
Yeah,
dude.
It's just so good.
The Sonic soundtracks are pretty awesome.
Very nice. But you can borrow my copy of this game. Just email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. Just a programming note for the rest of the month. We are talking about weird retro sequels all month, and these are all episodes that Mark is on. We have them in the can already. So this Thursday, we're going to be talking about Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. The next week is Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins. The week after that is Zoda's Revenge, Star Tropics 2. And
wow.
The week, yeah, that's right.
Wow, that's a deep cut.
It is a super deep cut and not a great game. And then the week after that is Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. So play along with those and email us your thoughts if you have any, and we will talk about them on this show.
That's great.
And then Matt, one more thing before we dive into the show proper. We've got a little bit of a debug from last week.
Okay.
So we were talking about games, Game Boy games that deserve the Link's Awakening treatment.
Oh, that's right.
To be remade and, but really just like a graphical upgrade. Other than that, just like it's the same game.
Right, all right.
And I was talking about the Game Boy Mega Man games because they've never been collected as far as I know. And they're just more Mega Man games. Why don't we have access to more Mega Man games?
Yeah.
And Mark said to me, hey, have those been released on the 3DS Virtual Console? And I was like, I don't think so.
Oh, they definitely have been.
They definitely have. That was pointed out to us on Twitter by a listener at, Al Borland Canada at Borland Corp. So thanks for pointing that out.
I actually I remember downloading those too because they're incredibly hard, man. They're harder than I remember.
They're real tough.
I remember downloading. I'm like, I can't wait. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is tough.
Oh my god, what am I gonna do? And then just a second Mega Man related thing. A listener Counting Expert at Counting Expert tweeted at us to point out that the Mega Man soundtracks that appeared on Spotify as part of the big like Capcom music dump Are you aware of this? That
I didn't know that.
Capcom put a ton of soundtracks up on Spotify like a couple weeks ago. Just like 100 of them or something like that.
Oh, I had no idea. That's incredible. I want Nintendo to do that. I know Microsoft kind of does.
Do they?
I know.
Are they
Halo's
better
on there
about
and
it?
stuff. Yeah, you could find like, or maybe it's like the string orchestra. Maybe it's not the official one. Maybe
Sure.
it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Mega Man ones include 2 different versions of every song. There's like the regular 8-bit version, and then there's like a fully arranged like electronic version of all the tracks for Mega Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And Counting Expert had asked, hey, what's the deal with this? And those arrangements are from the Rockman Complete Works, which is a collection of the Mega Man games that only released in Japan on PlayStation. And
wow.
Yeah, so they had like, some updated graphics just for like health bars and menus and stuff. And then they were released here in the States as individual games on just regular PlayStation. So that's where those other tracks, those
That's
other
incredible.
arrangements
I
come
had
from.
no idea.
I had to do some research.
Yeah,
I had to
that's
really
huge.
I had Mega Man 3 for PlayStation on my Vita at one point.
Wow.
Which was playing those rearranged tracks at me, and I had forgotten all about it.
Sometimes you kind of just like it just kind of goes subliminally into your head, and you're like, this sounds like the regular thing, but then it's, oh no, this is new. This is brand new.
Especially on a handheld where
exactly.
you're probably playing at low volume or like
Yeah.
you're trying to be hidden.
That's super cool, man. I want more video game soundtracks on Spotify.
Let's get them all up there.
Yeah, I honestly look for them all the time. Like I have an acapella version of Jump Up Superstar on my playlist because there's no original one on there.
Now, Mark and I talked about this at some point, but I thought one of the smartest things that Nintendo could do with the like Switch Online app would be if they just dumped all of the music from the games that you're playing onto that thing. You know how like you collect songs in Smash Brothers?
Yeah.
And you can play them on your Switch. I should be able to play those on my phone.
That would be so incredible if you could use the app. That's like, give me a reason to use this app.
Give me a reason.
I'm not using it right now. That would be incredible. And you could just blast. It could turn into your own little, radio. Your Nintendo radio is through the app. I think that's such a great idea, man.
Yeah, and I never need to use Spotify again. That's all I want.
That's all I
want to listen to.
Yeah. Yeah, my girl would be like, can we change it to something else? All right, here's some Kirby.
All right, Matt, let's get into what we've been playing this week. Okay, so you mentioned to me that you've been playing a little game.
A little game from a company that you might heard of called Ubisoft Canada.
Is it a Canadian game? I didn't realize.
Yeah, the Ubisoft Canada is the developer. So I guess technically it's a Canadian game, but we were talking about Starlink Battle for Atlas for Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
Yeah.
So did you get into Starlink when it was released, or why are you playing it now?
I didn't get it until Black Friday. I got it for like $40 with a Star Fox set.
Yeah, smart.
Because I want that Star Fox, the R-Wing, toy.
It's so nice.
It's really nice. It's a great addition to the collection,
Mm-hmm.
But I got it then, but I didn't really start playing it because I got distracted with like Pokemon and Smash, and no one was talking about this game.
Right.
Until like I kind of beat World of Light, and I was like, it's time to choose something new. So I took the full plunge into Starlink, and it's such a great game.
Yeah.
It's so fun. It's No Man's Sky. It feels like a faster paced No Man's Sky. And it makes more sense, and like it's yeah, it really does. Like it's like I don't know. It just makes more sense as a game. Like it's huge and it's fast. You can travel from planet to planet, leave atmosphere really easily while you're traveling in hyperspace. You can see space debris and exit hyperspace and like look for that space debris, and like, or you might get raided by like space pirates and like have to fight them off and stuff.
Which is always fun.
It's so fun. And I just wish that this game got more recognition, man. It's addicting.
Now, I saw that because I was over at your place last week.
Yeah.
To record an episode of the Ultimate Fictional Character Podcast.
That's right.
Which, is that out this week?
That one just came out. I guess this is coming out today or this week. So
yes,
yesterday.
Right.
Yesterday.
There we go.
Yeah.
So you should check out that because Matt and I and Christian Humes talk about which of these 4 fictional characters is better. We won't reveal anything else.
Yes.
All right.
You gotta listen for yourself.
You gotta listen for yourself. But I was over at your place the other day, and I saw that you had a couple of ships for Starlink. Right?
I did.
Not just the main one.
Yeah. Here's what all the ships are different. Like there was one that's defensive, one that's like faster, one that has a better firepower.
Yeah.
And like the toys are all really great. If you're a collector, if you're a kid, I think it's fantastic. But if you're someone who just wants to play the game, I feel like the toys are where the game could lose you if you buy it physically. And which would be fine if if I connect a ship, I would expect to have that ship in game permanently. But there's a time limit on when you have that ship. So every week you have to reattach the ships, the weapons, and the pilots that you want to use in game in order to use them. And I find it so tedious because you have to like bring out this huge clunky Joy-Con and then switch them all out. It's like such a pain in the butt that I stopped even using those, and I just use the ones that you start with, which is Star Fox, another one, and then like the fire, the ice, and then like the barrage weapon, because that's all you really need. But I just wish that like if you get it digitally, you don't have that problem.
Yeah, but then you also don't have the cool R-Link.
I know,
R-Wing toy.
Yeah. But yeah, I do have all the chips. And they're really fun to play with. But like I said, I just wish just let me have them in game, man. I don't want to use the toys.
Yeah, come on, man. I'm cool.
Yeah, right. So that to me, that's where like it, like if you get it, I recommend it going digitally and just pay $20 for the ship.
Yeah, I mean, especially because the game it keeps getting marked down, right?
Yeah,
like,
which is not a good sign.
It's not a good sign. I don't expect them to. I mean, I don't know. That also just sort of happens with Ubisoft games, right? Like Assassin's Creed Odyssey is down to like $40 or $30 now.
Yeah.
And that was a huge game that came out in like October or something of last year.
That is true. That's true. And we are getting DLC for it. We're getting a huge Star Fox pack with Wolf's Gang. And I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, and you get to play as every member of Star Fox.
Yeah, I'm gonna play I want to play as disgruntled old Peppy because like his name's Peppy, but he's the opposite of Peppy at all. He's super grumpy.
He is the opposite of Peppy.
Yeah,
he should have like a really upbeat young nephew whose name is Grumpy.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That would be perfect.
I'd play that game. I ship it.
So I have been playing 3 games primarily this week. Ape Out. I picked up Ape Out last week after Mark and I were a little bit confused as to what it was.
Yeah.
I picked it up because it looks great and it sounds amazing. You play a gorilla who is breaking out of some kind of cage. He's in a cage in a building, and the building has tons of dudes with guns. And so the gorilla just has to grab and shove his way through various floors to escape.
You're basically Caesar in Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
That's right.
And he's escaping that lab from Draco Malfoy.
That's right. And the soundtrack to this game is incredible. It is like all jazz drumming.
Yeah.
You mentioned that it's a little bit like the Birdman soundtrack.
Yeah.
100%. It just feels exciting and energetic the whole time you're doing it.
Yeah.
So Ape Out gets a strong recommend from me. I'm really, really enjoying it. I also played Deltarune Chapter 1, which is free on Switch if you want to try it out. Are you an Undertale guy, Matt?
Yes, I played Undertale, but I haven't done Deltarune yet. I forgot that it came out online first because it came out. Yeah. And now it's on Steam, Switch. It came out on Steam, and now it's free on the Switch. And I just haven't gotten around to playing it, but like I love Undertale, so I know I'm gonna love this game. So.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I had a hard time getting started in Undertale, so like I wouldn't count myself among like Undertale. Like, if someone said to me, Patrick, are you an Undertale guy? I'd be like, nah, not really.
It is kind of a slow start, especially because you're like, what is this? Like, what? Like, you don't really understand if like you should be fighting these things or if you should be like befriending them. But it's once you get like into it, it's like really, really good.
I know I will go back to it because I am very much enjoying my experience with Deltarune so far.
Nice.
2 things I want to say about Deltarune, and I will leave the rest a mystery because I think the game is better experienced, much like Undertale, than explained to you.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of Deltarune, there's a little character creator, so you're like swapping out heads and torsos, and like you name a character, and then the game just goes, okay, but that's not you. You don't get to play as that character. It tosses it out. It's like you don't get to make choices. and, and that becomes a like weird theme of the game where like it offers you choices and then says, no, actually you don't get to make that choice. I don't know, it's awesome. And I love the way that, because so much of Undertale is like, okay, approach this however you want, right? Like you can either fight these things or let them live.
Yeah.
And then this game is almost more like maybe you don't have the choices you think you have.
Yeah. How did it make you feel when it was like kind of at first we were like, what? Like,
I mean, I laughed out loud. I was playing it in my underwear, in the living room at like 7:00 in the morning on a Saturday, and laughed out loud to myself.
That's awesome.
So yeah, there's that, and then you're paired up very early in the game with another party member who is violent. And will attack your enemies no matter what. Wow. So you have to spend a turn warning the enemies to like, no, dodge Susie's attacks because she's going to attack you. I've got no control over her. Gosh. So I'm really, really liking it. I suggest everyone go spend an hour with it. It's free. It's like borrowing Sonic Forces from me, but easier.
You didn't beat Undertale, right? So. But with the amount of time you played with it, do you think you need to play Undertale first before you play?
I don't think so. I think it serves as like a nice contrast right at the beginning.
Okay.
But I think the game is you can jump right into it.
Nice.
And it doesn't assume that Undertale. It sets itself up and is welcoming enough to new players.
Yeah.
And then of course I've also been playing Tetris 99.
Oh, I've also been playing Tetris 99.
I mean, I'm gonna play this game until I die, Matt.
It's so addicting, and I've never I've always liked Tetris, but I've never like really gotten into it. Not by I just never did.
Sure.
But this one's like addicting as heck. The highest I've gotten is 7th place. I haven't gotten first yet. Because I'm having trouble in the top 10. It's so
top
fast,
10. It gets real tough.
And you need
when
to
that Flight of the
KOs.
Bumblebee comes in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're like, oh no. But it's addicting, and like it's when I lose, it's not discouraging. Like
no,
like because it's unlike Fortnite for me at least. Like Fortnite, you invested so much time. I was like, okay, I'm like playing a 45-minute game. I was like, oh well, that's over. And like, yeah, I don't know. Like to me, it's like you're on the same playing field every single time. I really like that.
Yeah. Well, also I get into like a long enough tear in Tetris 99 that like I forget when one game ends and the next one begins.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree because you just keep going.
You're just living that Tetris life, man.
Sometimes I think that, like, if I target someone in a game, or like, then and I do a rematch immediately, then like everyone targets me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, does everyone know I targeted somebody? Like,
yeah, everyone's auto targeting the meanies who are targeting other people.
I'm like, get those guys with badges,
All right, well, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week. Okay, so not a whole lot coming out this week that I wanted to talk about. Let's just run through the titles. On March 5th, that's today, RBI Baseball 19. These are all Switch. Pillar, Unknown Fate, Beat Cop, 12 is Better Than 6, Darkest Hunters, Bard's Gold, and Dark Quest 2. And then on Wednesday the 6th, Elevator ... to the Moon Turbo Championship Edition comes to Switch. And then on Thursday, March 7th, Braveland Trilogy, Valley, Hard West, Ghoul Boy, and the Arcade Archives Akari Warriors are all coming out on Switch. Akari Warriors is sort of interesting to me. It's a top-down shooter and is a fun game that I haven't really had access to in a good long time.
Yeah.
And then on Friday, March 8th, Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn comes to the 3DS.
Oh, that comes out this Friday.
That comes out this Friday.
I never played it on the Wii U.
On the Wii.
Wow! Oh my gosh! It's the Wii.
Oh yeah. No, this is like a 8 or 9-year-old game at this point.
Did you play it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Okay, because I wanted to pick up the 3DS version because like I heard good things about it.
So one of the things that I loved about Kirby's Epic Yarn was my girlfriend and I played it together because it's got that 2-player simultaneous co-op. And the game is basically free of fail states. Like you cannot really lose.
Is it like Kirby? I feel like Kirby Allies was the same, but I found that
it's even a little more extreme than that.
That's great.
Like there's no whenever you get hit, you just drop the gems that you're collecting, and when you have 0 gems, you just keep going.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the challenge, but at least there's still a challenge. The challenge is you want to not get hit. You want to collect as many gems as possible. Because I
That's
feel
right.
like with Kirby Star Allies, there was no challenge. Like it was just
Right.
like, I guess I'm just gonna get to the end and sometimes find a secret door. And I felt very underwhelmed by Kirby Star Allies. But
Right.
that sounds like something that has like that's why I like the Yoshi games because
Mhm.
it's not sure like the main levels are easy, but where you want to get complex in it is it's however the user wants it, as difficult as the user wants to be.
Totally. It scales to your expectations of the game. Yeah.
Right. So dang. Okay, I'll have to pick that up.
Well, so the one thing that I will caution about this version of of Epic Yarn is it is only single player. You can
Okay.
only play it by yourself. And it does have more content, and there are more like things to buy with the gems that you collect. But I played the majority of this game co-op, and that won't be an option on 3DS.
Was it like co-op where you actually played two characters, or like?
Yep.
Oh, that's so great.
Yep.
Dang.
It was like a Kirby
Okay.
and then like a little blue Kirby that had a crown on.
Yeah.
It was so cute. God, Kirby's great.
I do love Kirby.
Also coming out on Friday on the Switch are Assault Android Cactus Plus. That's one game. Assault Android Cactus Plus.
Is that like a running gun?
Who knows?
Yep.
Paperbound Brawlers and Monument Builders Rushmore. So yeah, I think really the biggest thing of note is that Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn. What do you think? You think that's probably the last Nintendo game we're going to see on 3DS?
Oh man, that's the rumor because it seems like every console is like it ends with a Kirby game. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like a Kirby game comes out and it's like, oh well, that's it. I don't know. I feel like the 3DS is still like, at least across the seas, like in Japan, it's still like a pretty big console. Like people still play it. There's
I mean, yeah, there are a lot of them out there for sure. Like,
Yeah.
it's got an install base, but like, I don't know, with Pokemon,
Pokemon.
yeah, moving on.
Yeah.
We got to get into the news. So first, let's close out this segment. And work our way towards the news.
Sweet.
But first, it's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance of 433, Matt and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Matt, I have given you a few makeshift envelopes that Mark put topics in for us to discuss. Would you like to select one and read it, and we will discuss?
I feel good about this one that's green.
Okay, going
I do
for the
like
green one.
All right, here we go. The topic is, did you, this is great. Did you have a computer lab in elementary school? If so, what were your favorite games and activities to play? What a great question.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Wow.
We did have a computer lab
Same.
in our elementary school. It was they like cut a part off the library and like walled it off separate, and they're like, well, library's just smaller now. So,
Oh,
so you can
no.
have a computer lab.
Oh, ours were like, they built like one of those, they built like a small building, like the ones you build really quick, like a little compact building. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
For my mind is just like, call it a pop-up. It's a pop-up building.
It's probably, yeah, a
That's-
pop-up building.
That's not right, though.
We had ours in there, and I remember we had like it was a bunch of Macs,
Mhm.
and it was the colored ones that had like, they were like kind of like blue, like see-through shelled on the back. Or,
Yeah,
and, like
yeah.
orange and green. That's the ones we used a lot, and we actually went in there a lot, and it kind of tricked me because like I played a lot of games, and like they felt like real games, and particularly my favorite one was Math Blasters. I loved Math Blasters.
Math
man.
Blasters is fun.
Yeah.
That just made me think of Math Blaster Mysteries. Is that a thing?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either. I can't support that at all.
Yeah.
Why would I bring it up,
There
Matt?
were I do know there were multiple Math Blasters, but
Yeah.
maybe that was one of them.
What did you like about Math Blasters?
Oh man, it's been years.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
it's-
yeah.
yeah. I still grind in Math Blasters today, man. I get
Oh
through
man,
it so
the end
fast.
game content is so good.
Yo, my times tables are way better now than they were back then. You know?
Oh man.
It felt like to me it felt like a 2D platformer.
Mhm.
If I recall, like I remember the feel, like you know left, right, up, down, whatever. Like you control the Math Blaster.
Yeah.
And I just like it felt like he like shot things too, right? Like he would like
I feel like that's true. That and you were just like running around like grabbing numbers and stuff.
I remember solving. There were like it would be like 4 + 3, you know, and you had to type in 7, right? And then
Right.
and that would get your thing to work. I don't remember how. I remember it being fast, but I don't remember specifically how.
Huh.
You know?
Did you ever play the Number or Super Munchers games? Number Munchers or Super Munchers? Yes.
Dude, that's like, oh my god. I feel like you just bing bonged that memory back because that was like in the forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And I those names. I remember all those names.
Yeah. You're like a green frog thing moving around like a 5x5 grid. And at the top, it'll say like multiples of 3. And then you're like 9, 15, 21.
Dude, I totally remember that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I forgot about. Thank you for bringing that back into my mind.
You're welcome. There was a spelling game that we used to play that was like a track and field themed spelling game. And at the end of every like unit, you had to like run a long race as it's like a frog, right? And it had really bad like speech capabilities. So like you would type in your name and it would be like, "Hello, Patrick." And whenever you would win those races at the end, it would say it would congratulate you on winning either the gold, silver, or bronze medal, like depending on how well you did. And so like I just have this sound burned into my brain of it going, "Congratulations on winning the gold medal, Patrick."
That's technology at the time was way ahead of its time.
Oh yeah,
pretty crazy. Of course, Oregon Trail was one that we did a lot of, and I always wanted to get to the raft level where you had to like raft south to California from Oregon, and that was like, because to me that was like, I mean, Oregon Trail itself is like a text-based RPG in a way.
Yes. Well, I guess we will.
We'll never know the end of that.
We'll never know the end of that anecdote. Yeah. We were accompanied today by the K2 Orchestra. All right, Matt, let's get into the news. On Pokemon Day last week, which was Tuesday, Nintendo put up a special Pokemon Direct on their YouTube channel, revealing the long-awaited 8th generation in the franchise. The games are called Pokemon Sword and Shield, and they take place in the Galar region. So first things first, they revealed the new starters for Galar. They are Scorbunny, Sobble, and Grookey.
Yeah.
So Scorbunny, as we know, is a charismatic fire rabbit. Sobble is an anxious water lizard, and Grookey is a playful grass monkey.
Yeah.
How do you feel about these guys, Matt?
Man, I do like them a lot. I thought it was interesting that we went monkey again. I feel like we've had a monkey starter before with
Chimchar.
Chimchar, yeah. But I
that was a while ago though. Chimchar is like,
a while ago.
Is he Gen 4?
Someone's gonna be like, they didn't get it right. Nerd card revoked. No.
We have our Pokemon-related nerd cards revoked all the time.
It's
Mark and I are so bad at Pokemon.
I mean, it's so extensive. Like, unless you, I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty loose about Pokemon because like I don't like. There's so much.
There's so much.
Like I know the Pokemon, but I don't know which generation they're from.
No,
like,
it's too much. It's too
I don't
much
think
to
that
know.
matters, you know. And everyone hates us now. No, but
they're on board. They're on board.
I think they look great. I like their distinct personalities. I think I really love Sobble.
Sobble's your boy.
Sobble's my boy. Sobble is like basically Deku from My Hero Academia incarnated. It's got that same energy, you know. It's always crying but get the job done. And Scorbunny reminds me of a Digimon. It reminds me of like Terriermon and Impmon.
I'm out of my depth on Digimon there.
It's like it's got more of like a, I would say, humanistic personality to it. Like it feels a little more like
it feels almost like a Looney Tune.
Yeah, but I love them, dude. I think they're really cute.
I like that they are so similarly shaped in their first evolutions. Like they, with the exception of like the ears and the fin, they all have like identical silhouettes. Like they look just exactly the same, basically.
Yeah.
But I like the Grookey.
I do like Grookey. I'm torn between Sobble and Grookey, to be honest.
I mean, Grookey he seems like he's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And like he wants to like hang out with you, and like I can't tell if that little stick is, because he's got like a little stick that he keeps in his hair, and I can't tell if that's like a musical instrument or a weapon. And either way, I'm into it.
I kind of hope it's a musical instrument. Like he gets like a big old grass drum at the end. You
know?
That'd
be great if he had a big old grass drum.
That'd be so sweet. I'd be all about that. You know? I was actually talking to Emily Rose. We did like a trailer reaction for this at Hyper RPG, and one of the things that Emily brought up that I think this is interesting because the Galar region, Galar, it's set in like it looks like UK, England, kind of like a world, right?
Yes.
So, and she thinks that the final evolutions of these Pokemon are going to be based on, like UK mythology, like English mythology. So, like for example, the one that she pointed out to me was Sobble. She thinks is going to turn into like the Loch Ness monster kind of a deal. That's why you can turn invisible and stuff.
And why it's such a shy Pokemon.
Yeah.
This that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
I guess I don't totally track what the other two Pokemon become.
Right. I don't.
But that's a great prediction for how that line evolves.
Yeah. I'm like I'm for that. I dig that.
So just jamming through the bullet points I have here. The Galar region has an environment, like you say, very similar to the United Kingdom, complete with idyllic English villages, soccer-like stadiums, and at least one London-esque metropolis.
Yeah.
Like a new, modern, fancy-looking city.
Mm-hmm.
The Englishness of the setting is also underscored by the outfits of the trainers, which include a lot of cable knit sweaters and tams. They're all wearing those those warm little beret things. And then it looks like there's also an extensive rail system throughout Galar, so you're going to be taking trains to get places,
which is awesome. That's such a cool. I don't think we've had a system that like a train system in the games I can think of.
Yeah, no, not that I can think of either. But yeah, it's nice to just know that there's like part of the fast travel built in there that like makes sense to the world.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know what? The Pokemon, like the soccer stadium.
Yeah,
dude, that was I think for me that was the first time in a main series Pokemon game where it feels like, oh man, like this is a gym battle, or maybe that's the Elite Four, but usually it's like, oh, there's 3 people watching this community event, but this one felt like an event, and I was like, they were able to. I hope all the gyms feel like that. That might be the Elite Four. I have no idea, but I love the theme. In the UK, soccer is huge, football is huge over there,
right?
So it makes sense that would be kind of the theme of the gyms or whatever that is,
Yeah, no, it seems really cool, and just a way to make some trainer battles feel really hype and cool.
Yeah,
because normally when you're playing a Pokemon game, a trainer battle in a gym doesn't feel any different really than another trainer battle.
Right.
But if this one is set in a huge stadium with people cheering and stuff, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's it gives me chills thinking about it. Oh my gosh. And I love this. There's a little bit of a steampunkiness to the world too. Everything's kind of powered by a lot of gears. A lot of big gears, I guess, because that makes sense. Yeah. Because if it's English, it's I don't know, I think Big Ben.
Sure.
So
Big Ben is English, that's right.
Clocks. Ooh. I don't know, that's kind of, I think that's really cool. All the gears and stuff like that, it's gotta lead to some interesting I don't know, worlds and stuff.
Yeah, and it seems like there's especially if Emily's theory about the Pokemon is their evolutions is true. I like how much seems to be driven by the theme of the region, right? That it seems very English, and if this whole thing is going to be in that nice package, I think Sun and Moon did that pretty well of the Alolan stuff all feeling kind of unified.
Yeah.
But this is that cranked up to 1 million. And yeah.
I totally agree, man. Something that I kind of wish that they kept, that I think they took out. What I really liked about Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu is seeing the Pokemon walking around in world, and you were able to approach them that way. It looks like we're going back to random encounters.
Yep, but it does look like random encounters are back.
Yeah. And I like random encounters because that means we get a battle, But I also really dug, seeing them walk around. I like that mechanic a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it makes the world feel more alive, right?
Yeah, and it's a little easier to to train. Get the ones you want.
Yeah, you can at least proceed with a little bit more intention, right? Of no, I'm going for that one. I can see it. I'm gonna get him. Just a couple things here, and then we can bounce on this. But Shigeru Omori, who is the director, said that they were challenging. Quote: "We are challenging ourselves to try new things while still treasuring what makes Pokemon special." So, that's kind of the line they tell with all of these things is no, there'll be something new in here, but it'll be Pokemon. And it sure looks like a new Pokemon game.
Exactly. And it's still going to be it's going to be such a great game. I'm still waiting for the day, and I don't think we'll ever get it, where it's like still the mainstream Pokemon game.
Uh-huh.
I really want it to have this kind of open world, like kind of Skyrim feel to it, where you can get quests, like you can go on like it's like even if it's like like something as simple as like like I need Rattatas for my studies, like, and you have to go like just like things that like where you can go get sidetracked from the main plot more.
Yeah.
Because you get that in Pokemon, but not as like I want like to go to town.
Right. You want like the open world Pokemon.
Give me like a subclass. I want to be like a Pokemon breeder. You know what I mean? Or like,
that would be so good if you could like pick a trainer class.
Right? That'd be so fun.
Man.
And then you can like, it'd be so much fun. Because you still be a trainer. You still be like going for the Pokemon League and stuff.
Right.
But you had like this class, like you could be like a Pokemon cook or whatever, and like you could be like a doctor. I don't know. I think there'd be really cool stuff. But we won't get that for a long time because they like to stay close to like the original kind of IP.
I mean, they know what they're doing, right?
They really do.
These games are due out later this year, and we are also promised quote plenty is in the works that we hope will delight you in 2019.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see that because like for a standalone direct, I was actually expecting more. It seemed like something that you would drop at the end of a regular direct, which probably was going to happen, but they wanted to wait for Pokemon Day, the Detective Pikachu trailer,
right?
All that stuff kind of takes into account. But I feel like the direct itself would have been perfect at the end of a regular direct.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder if because the direct that we got in February, like in the beginning of February, felt so late, right?
It did, yeah.
I wonder if the majority of that content, like maybe was planned for a January direct, and then the Metroid Prime 4 stuff got all kind of like wonky.
Yeah.
And then like everything just kind of gets pushed back, and then they're like, this Pokemon thing doesn't have anywhere to live now. It'll just go out on Pokemon Day. It's fine. Pokemon can do 7 minutes by itself. Nobody cares.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
We'll all show up.
Well, I was there at 6 a.m. Yeah. It was very early, and you had to do a trailer reaction. When you're just roll out of bed, like, this looks awesome.
Yeah, let's go back to sleep. Nintendo of Japan updated its recruitment webpage last week, and it gave us some insights into what it's like working at Nintendo. Here are some numbers. Let's talk about these numbers.
All right.
The number of employees working for Nintendo in Japan is 2,271. The average age of the employees is 80. No, that's wrong. 38.6, which is younger than I would have expected.
Yeah.
Average length of employment is 13.5 years, which in games is crazy.
Yeah.
The average workday is 7 hours and 45 minutes, and the average annual salary is $80,000.
Wow, they're a great company.
Nintendo seems like they're a great company.
I mean, if you go to have you been to Nintendo America?
Mm-mm.
It's everyone there is really cool, and they take you really good care. There's a Mario Cafe, like that's super really. It's like really, it was actually really good food and
there
stuff.
There should be Mario cafes everywhere.
I think so too, right? That's what I'm saying. But man, like I can tell that they take good care of their. I mean, you had Reggie as like the lead over here,
right?
Like I can imagine what it's like over there.
Well, and there are those stories of like Iwata cutting his salary in half because like they didn't meet some like kind of sales goal. He's like, no, instead of laying people off when we have to tighten our belts a little bit, that like we'll just do it from the people that can afford to, like
that's really cool.
Understanding that like the company isn't just like a bunch of money and IP, like it's also the people that are making it.
Yeah.
And like you have happy people, you have happy products.
I think that shows in their product too, man.
Mm-hmm.
I really, like you said, like I really, really do. Like that kind of mentality kind of promotes this general positivity, and I think Nintendo for the most part is a very positive community.
Totally.
Unless you're talking about Smash characters, I guess. But for the most part, like everyone's like really positive, and it's all about family, and like it's all about sharing the gaming experience together. And I think that's really special.
Yep, me too. There are some new updates coming to Mario Tennis Aces, or some updates came last week in version 2.3.0. The update includes Pauline as a playable character, the old jump up superstar herself.
Yeah.
And then there is a new co-op challenge. It is the Shy Guy Train Tussle. There's some other character rebalancing and just other stuff to generally improve gameplay.
That's great. That's so cool. They're still making content for that game, man.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like, did this come out last? It must have come out last
June.
year.
It came out June 18th.
And that I feel like it's been just like a quiet simmer. Like the game didn't really blow up when it came out.
Yeah.
And like just every now and then Nintendo's like, oh yeah, we're putting Rosalina and Illuma in there to play tennis with you.
There's additional like story mode. Did you know that? Like,
Is there really?
They added an additional like story mode island, and like I haven't touched it. I played the main story. I didn't go back for that yet.
Yeah, me too.
But I need to because I really liked the main story. It was fun.
Yeah, I mean it got difficult, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun. And then in addition to the things that we just mentioned, there are 2 more characters coming to Aces. Kamek is available in April and Drybones in May. And all you have to do to get them in April and May is play 1 online tournament in April and May.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, they're both available the months after, so May and June.
Can you still get characters? Like I've missed. Oh, good, because like I was like I haven't played since like October. But the last I got was I think the last one I got was Diddy Kong.
Yeah, I think the only extra character I got was the first one that they put out.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you don't play a tournament in the like special month, then they just come out the next month.
Oh, that
and
makes
you don't
sense.
have to do anything to unlock them. So it's just it's an incentive to play the online tournaments, but you're not really penalized for not doing it.
Cool, that's great.
Evo 2019, the fighting game tournament, has revealed its full lineup of main stage tournaments. At some point last week, they announced this stuff. Are you into fighting games or Evo or the fighting game community?
I watch highlights for Smash, and I actually like watching Splatoon. I think Splatoon is a great game to watch in an Evo environment because it comes down to the wire every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the games that they announced for Evo are Under Night in Birth, which is a game I know literally nothing about.
What is that?
I don't know. It seems like word salad to me. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which of course is on Switch. And we should point out, this is the first year in a long time that Super Smash Bros. Melee has not been on this list.
Oh, that would explain the memes I've been seeing.
There you go. Now you understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Melee has obviously is such a legacy game, and the people who love Melee will never stop loving it.
Yeah.
But Evo said, "Hey, love it somewhere else."
Did you ever see the Melee Smash documentary that they made?
No, I never did.
They made a documentary about the fighting of the championship fighting stuff for Melee, and it's on YouTube. You can watch it all. It's like 4 hours long, but like 4 hours long with like 30-minute episodes.
Right, sure.
And it's fascinating. Like it was like East Coast versus West Coast kind of thing. Like people will call each other like oh, I know like this guy was in New York, so I came out to New York, and like it's like really interesting. And it made me realize I am okay at Smash. I
feel the same way. I like Street Fighter a lot, and anytime I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna dig into like the Street Fighter community, and I'm like, oh man,
yeah,
there's so much here.
Yeah,
and I just can't even hang. Not even close.
I'm with you there, man, for sure.
The other games that are on this list are Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, Tekken 7, Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, Soul Calibur 6, and Mortal Kombat 11, and the new Samurai Showdown game, which didn't have a release date. We recently learned that it was going to be coming out sometime during the summer, and that's good because Evo is August 2nd through the 4th in Las Vegas.
Yep.
So hopefully Samurai Showdown will be out long enough for people to have any idea what it's like.
Yeah.
Before bringing it into tournament play.
Hopefully it's good.
Yeah. No one even knows if it's good.
Yeah, one can only hope that when we hold this tournament, people will be excited for it.
I mean, I think people like Sam Show.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know much about it, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, well, it's samurais.
Samurais are dope.
What's not to like?
Yeah.
The Resident Evil Origins collection is currently available for pre-order on both Amazon and GameStop. The game price is listed as $59.99, which is perhaps a little steep for some old games.
Yeah, that comes with what 1, 4, and 3.
So the Resident Evil Origins collection is just the remake of 1 and 0.
That's it.
That's it.
But they are making 4. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 is also coming. So here, just to a little follow up there, the Nintendo website lists the price of each of the individual games, 0, 1, and 4, as $29.99 each.
That's steep.
It's
man.
too much, right?
You could get that on Steam for like $5. Like
Yeah.
I know you're trying to make up because they're probably doing it physical form. So
but not for 4. 4 is only coming digitally.
No way, they're still charging that. That's crazy.
Here's the thing. It won't stay there forever.
No, it won't. You'll see that. Like, put that on your wish list.
Yeah, that's right.
It'll drop. It will for sure drop. Like, that's steep. And
Yeah.
it's only, I feel like the only reason to justify the 0 and 1 is that it's for the cartridge, because the cartridge kind of expensive.
It's got to be big, yeah. But still, $60 is a lot for those two games together, and $30 is too much for any of those games on their own.
Yeah.
Like, they're good games, but like, you played them
multiple times.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you played Resident Evil 4?
I think I haven't played Resident Evil 4 in like 10 years.
Oh.
Like, I think the last time I played it was my GameCube copy on Wii a long time ago.
Oh, did you know Switch is coming out with a remake?
Oh yeah, what's it gonna cost me?
$30. Yeah, you can relive that. 10 years of history has gone by, and you can relive that.
Friday the 13th, the game Ultimate Slasher Edition, the asymmetrical multiplayer horror game, is coming to the Switch in the spring, as is Saints Row the Third, the full package. Both games coming to Switch in the spring. Well, I don't really have too much to say about this other than it's neat or weird. I actually can't tell whether I like it or not.
I don't know either. I think it seems like a way to get people to use the app, but it might not even have the app capabilities, because part of Friday the 13th is the in-game voice, where you like you could talk to each other, like through like you find walkie-talkies, you could talk to your like team and like try to escape, and or you could be Freddy and like you could do funny voices. Like some guy killed me as Mickey Mouse, and I was like, oh, this is terrifying. But like that was a huge part of the game, so I wonder how they're going to. I don't imagine they're going to have that in game. Like, I don't know.
Right, but if you're not able to coordinate with people to take on Jason, like what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do?
I mean,
you're supposed to die.
I guess so. It's interesting to see how that's going to work on the Switch, I think,
Yeah, totally.
It's cool that they're bringing it. But I just want to know like how it's such a PC game. Like it's meant to be, and like maybe I can see it on like Xbox Live and stuff. But
and I mean both this and Saints Row don't feel like natural fits for the Switch. And I'm always curious as to how those kinds of games end up doing on the platform.
Well, because Dead by Daylight, did that come out already for the Switch? Did they already launch?
Not sure.
Well, that game though, it's basically Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
But on a smaller scale. So that one makes more sense to me to be on the Switch, because you don't need to really communicate the way you do in Friday the 13th, because the map is significantly smaller.
Wait, is Dead by Daylight the one that they showed in the Direct a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
That looked real bad?
Yeah.
Looked real rough.
Yeah. It looked pretty bad.
Oh, poor Dead by Daylight.
I know. That's a fun game, too. But yeah.
But, play it somewhere else. And maybe it'll be cheaper.
Yeah.
And finally, if you're interested in playing the Daemon X Machina demo, but haven't downloaded it yet for whatever reason, Nintendo has put a ticking clock on this thing. The demo will be removed from the eShop on March 11th.
Oh.
So a little less than a week.
You can download it now and feel significantly meh.
So I assume, Matt, that you played it and didn't feel great about it.
I was pretty bummed because I'd really looked forward to it, seeing that at the E3 and the E3 Direct. I was like, this looks awesome, and it's like, I mean, it's still early, but like it's so slow and needs to be faster, I think, and the dialogue is terrible.
Oh man, that dialogue!
It's so bad.
I can't. And like they're reaching out for feedback on these things, and like, what can we change? And like, is it too slow? That's something that they can address between now and a release date. The dialogue is bad. They're not gonna change any of that.
No way.
This stuff is locked in stone, man. All right, Matt. Let's get out of the news. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Matt,
Yes.
thank you for doing this with me.
I'm so happy I got to be here anytime, man. Thank you for having me. For
Yeah,
real.
this was super fun. Is there
Yeah.
anything that you would like to plug at this time?
Yeah, so we, as you said, we mentioned earlier in the episode, we just did an episode of the Ultimate Fictional Character Podcast. Patrick just came on and guested on it, and that podcast is a lot of fun. You should check it out. We pit 4 characters a week randomly against each other to see and have a discussion as to who is the best. It's less of a defending one character, more of a discussion on who we think is the best character.
And best is so all encompassing, and sometimes it means one thing, and sometimes it means something else.
Yeah, it's all about fun.
It's all about fun. We're having fun.
We're having fun. But you can check that out. Check that out at Ultimate Fictional Character Podcast on iTunes or Podbean and all that stuff. So yeah.
Great. And then also remember to rate, review, and subscribe to this show on Apple Podcasts. If you like the episode, you can share it with people on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you share stuff. That helps us out tremendously. You should follow us on Twitter. I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Matt is at the Matt Acevedo. And Mark, who is not here, is at MKE Mitchell. The show is at Nincart Society. And you can check out the Facebook page, which of course is just Nintendo Cartridge Society. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Matt Acevedo, this is Patrick Eller saying thanks for listening.
Campfire.